now the clock's on time. All right, I'll call to order the city council meeting for July 8th, 2021. Everyone please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call.
Steve Cherney is absent. Kevin Kadada.
Here.
Tim Rude.
Here.
Cindy Fuhr.
Here.
And Scott Palava.
Here.
Okay, tonight's agenda goes through 10O. Any additions, deletions, or corrections to the agenda?
Move to approve the agenda as presented.
Motion by Councilman Palava,
Second?
second by Councilperson Fear. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of minutes. Consider approval of the minutes from the June 17th, 2021 special meeting and the June 24th, 2021 regular meeting. Any additions, deletions, or corrections to the minutes?
We approve the minutes.
Motion by Councilman Kadada,
Second.
second by Councilman Palava. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. There are no public hearings. On to presentation of citizens petitions and comments. Comments limited to 2 minutes. So if you're not on the agenda, now is your opportunity to speak. Okay, there's nothing on the consent agenda. There's nothing on old business. On to new business. Consider approval of application for payment number 4 in the amount of $179,487.30 to Key Contractors, Inc. for the police facility. Melissa Stein of Wold. Welcome.
Hi, Mayor, council members. How are you doing tonight?
Great.
I'm here for just the approval of the pay-up and also to kind of give you guys an update of where we are construction-wise. So I don't know if you've made it to the site, but all of our footings have been poured. If you see an area that kind of has some steps to it, that will be the new storm shelter that's in the facility that we had to create now because of the new code.
Right.
They have started putting some structures in the underground, started doing underground mechanical, electrical. Our grades, I think everything's has like the class 5, and we won't be paving or doing curb and gutter and stuff until after our precast comes in. So the only thing, we're still on schedule. Our schedule is still the date that we talked about the last time that I was here. We have been tracking a longer lead time for our precast panels. They are a little more delayed than what we had thought they were, but they're still within the overall schedule that we have and the time we allowed that was allotted for that product to come in. They're just really up to the far end of it. So we have already had conversations with the contractor. They've already had conversations with the subcontractor on just if they don't hit that time frame, what that means from them from a impact standpoint and what we would be expecting.
Do you know what that date is approximately?
Yeah, so they will be on site August 2nd.
With precast?
Yep, installing precast. And they said it'll take about a week to install. So they had to change the way that they're bracing it a little differently, but that again is all on them, because to keep our schedule where we're at with other contractors.
Okay. Was there anything at the weekly meetings that needs discussion? Or?
That was really the.
That was the big part, the big piece, yep.
Okay, okay. All right. Any questions on the pay request from anybody or staff? Any concerns? No?
With the precast being delayed a little bit, is the price still the same for it? Or-
Mhm.
Okay, good.
Yep. And anything that, let's say they go over and it kicks other contractors out or changes the schedule, any costs that occur from that will get charged back to that subcontractor.
Very
So
good.
that was part of the conversation that we had with them. Yep.
Good.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve payment number 4 in the amount of $179,487.30 to Key Contractors.
Motion by Councilman Palava,
Second?
second by Councilperson Fear. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consider approval of change order number 2 in the deduct amount of $109,825 for the police facility. You're still up to bat?
I am, yeah. So it's approval for, change order 2. It is a deduct to the overall contract. I think you guys are aware of what those are, but if you had questions about any of them, there's 3 different items really that it consists of. I'm more than happy to answer anything you might have.
I think we went over pretty good last meeting.
Right.
I move we approve change order number 2.
Motion by Councilman Kadada,
Second?
second by Councilperson Fair. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It looks like the deduct is just enough to cover our insurance policy. Consider approval of the city's 2021-22 property casualty insurance premium in the amount of $110,522. Pete Plechek, Plechek Insurance Agency at Montgomery Incorporated. Welcome, sir.
Okay, I don't know if you had time to review that a little bit. I sent out the little bit of a proposal showing you back 3 years. I like to go back 3 years so we see kind of what's going on with it. Kind of surprised me when it did come in a little bit up now, but after thinking about it and seeing what's happening, the thing is with insurance, these underwriters and stuff, they try to look forward. We always think looking back what we paid last year and but these people are always thinking of what they're gonna have to pay in the future, so with everything that happened, if you look at these, the first sheet here is just the cover, breaks down the property. As you can see, the big amount of the increase is actually in the property. And you can understand why that is because, the cost of everything has gone up dramatically. And so these people are trying to predict what they're gonna end up paying in the future here, so. I mean, this last hailstorm is gonna be, everybody in Lonsdale's probably gonna have a new roof, so I
Right.
mean,
Right.
you're talking lots of money, so. But that's what it's for, so that's good, but anyhow, and then also the equipment breakdown, that stayed pretty level. That's just a broadening of the coverage, so we pick up things that can fix pressure vessels, that sort of thing, and Russell, it's been pretty good coverage for us in the past. And then as you can see, the next down there is the municipal liability, that went up some too. I think the main thing is you're seeing a lot more lawsuits now with cities, especially the patrolmen. The police are getting, as you know, in the press and stuff, they're getting beaten up pretty good. And so there's a lot of stuff happening with that. And every time a lawsuit is created, well, you've got to defend that. So, and that's expensive to do too. So whether anybody has done anything wrong and a lawsuit happens, they gotta defend, league's gotta defend. So that's why I think that one has gone up some. And then also the growing of the community comes into play. I'll show you here in a little bit how they rate that and stuff. And it's by expenditures and there's all sorts of things in there. So the autos pretty much stayed the same. We added a couple of vehicles, got rid of a couple, so that's pretty much stayed the same. The bond, that's there too. And as you can see, it went from 96,128 up to 108,522. If you go to the next page, that's just kind of a breakdown of everything. Shows you, all this is, I just kind of did a little different on the other side. The third page shows this is the property for the city. Last year you had coverage of 24,713,158. And then now this year we estimated 25,323,996. The big increase was the hockey outfit out there. That's really nice, but it costs some money to put her up. So
Right.
so that was the biggest increase there on the property. The rest of the coverages just kind of fall into place here. That's not really, this fourth page, it just shows you your property deductible is $1,000. Okay, the crime is what that would be for, is the basically that's for the liquor store there, you know, in case somebody would break in and steal money out of there. That's what the crime is for. And that's $250,000 with a $500 deductible. On the next page, then there's the bond. Okay, that's for, mainly for the gambling manager. The funds for the city, or the firemen, I guess, are in the bars there for that, and that bond picks up. That is $1,000 deductible, $200,000 is what we need to cover that for now. The petrol fund, that's just thrown in, that's really doesn't pertain to us, because we really don't have any big oil or bulk fuel places or tanks or anything like that, so that would really come into play on that. And again, the equipment breakdown coverage, that is a $250 deductible, where the rest of them now are either $500 or $1,000, so that's down a little bit.
If I may,
Next page.
could I ask a question about
I'm
that?
sorry.
So the equipment breakdown, what equipment is that? Is that just specifically
It can be-
stationary, or would that be like, if we, lost a piece of, like a payloader, if that went down, or something like that, if we lost use of that?
It's more for stuff like the pressure vessels, like at the waste treatment plant or anything, all the vessels, that run it.
All right.
Maybe Russ could expand on what those are really more, it's been those pumps.
motors, wells.
Okay, so primarily
It's just
stationary
breakdown. See,
equipment.
usually you gotta have, like, either it's gotta be a fire, or it's gotta be lightning, or wind, or hail. Equipment breakdown expands on that and covers it for breakdown, basically. So,
Okay, that's fine, I
another-
wasn't sure.
Yeah, other big ones are air conditioning units can break down on you, and those are very expensive too, especially in commercial buildings, so. It broadens the coverage
Okay.
and makes it a lot better for you, I believe.
Right. Thank you.
And then the next page here, we've just got the building listed with values. Some of those, they just put citywide. Those would be, we've got some, the sirens, for the Warren people, street signs, street lights, can be numerous things, water lanes, anything citywide are picked up under some of that stuff. But that just gives you an idea what each building we've got covered for in that. So in case, you wanted to check that out. The next page really is just a continuation of those. If you go to, I think it's property in the open. That just shows you where I said it's, citywide, various and stuff. It lists the sirens, signs, street lights, that sort of thing. So there's different things. That's property in the open is stuff that usually is in the open and it's not a building per se, but it's property, fences, numerous things. The next page is actually the mobile property, is what that is. That could be numerous things. It's kind of our bigger equipment, the payloader. That sort of would be an example of that. And everything is picked up. It's a blanket coverage. The only thing that has to be scheduled is an item that's over $250,000. If you have anything over $250,000, then that has to be scheduled. Otherwise, it picks up. It could be trailers, it could be numerous things, tractors, whatever the city may have there. Okay, and then the municipal liability, that's $2 million each occurrence. We do what is called, we do not waive the statutory limit of $300,000. So if there is a claim, that's what's going to be paid on the, per claim. It's $300,000. There is a $2 million limit that we could. So if there was different claims in one circumstance, that sort of, back to back or whatever, you'd have coverage for those. So, and the municipal liability, it's figured in by the number of households. And you've got your full-time employees for the city, and then you've got your number of police officers, sewer connections, and then expenditures. And you can see on this next page, it shows the employment as 25 employees. Last year was 25 also, we didn't add anything. Land use, that would be the Land, well, that one really doesn't explain it there, I'm sorry. But yeah, police is 6, we had 6 policemen, that's the same. Sewer connects, last year there was 1,531, this year it's 1,611, so we've had a few more connects. And then expenditures were up from 7,233,787 up to 8,778,875. So expenditures are up, and that's why the liability premium is up there. Okay. And then the automobile liability is 2 million each occurrence. That's the liability, and then you just show the vehicles listed on the next few pages. Just what the coverage they have. We have 1,000 deductible on the comprehensive and collision. I'm after the league, and I know other agents have been too, to add full glass coverage, you know, in case a window breaks, that sort of thing, windshield. But they don't do that, you know, it falls under your comp and under the deductible. So that may be something we can look at in the future if they do offer that. And then not the second to the last page, just list vehicles. These are the newer vehicles. They are on a replacement cost basis. Otherwise, normal automobile insurance is actual cash value. So if these items were totaled out in a loss, you would get replacement cost on them. There's a list of about 10 of them there, so. And then the EDA is part of the city also. They are an additional insured, which is added on the Economic Development Authority. So, but that's about all I have. Does anybody have any questions or concerns or anything that I could maybe answer? I know it's pretty quick. It's hard to go through all the stuff in just a few minutes, so.
Anything from staff, you got any opinions or thoughts, or all good, or?
Yeah, the renewal process is pretty smooth. The league is good as far as paying claims and working with staff. We definitely get the use out of our equipment breakdown, that's for sure.
When the new police department is completed, that is the point when we would become the insurer of it. As it's in construction phase, it's covered under key construction?
We'll have that taken care of, yep.
Okay.
Yep, at the time that the insurance renewed, they hadn't started construction on that. So when we were going through this for the staff, or for this meeting, I contacted the league and got builder's risk on that, added that, and then switched Trichka Park Warming House to fully insured.
Okay.
I see we still have the 91 Ford fire rig, that old rescue rig?
We do,
Okay.
yes.
We haven't sold that yet.
Nope.
I thought I saw it the other day, and that piqued my interest. I was gonna ask about that.
Did you wanna buy it?
No. Apparently nobody else does either.
Okay,
Okay,
All right, thank you.
Thank
well,
you.
thank you very much.
thank you.
Well, I move we approve the city's 2021-22 property casual insurance, in the amount of $110,522.
Motion by Councilman Kadada,
Second.
by Councilman Palava, for the discussions. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consider approval to make a conditional job offer to Kevin Wildenberg as firefighter. Dave Fluke, Fire Chief. Welcome, Chief.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. The old rescue squad is all cleaned out. I mean, you can come and pick it up anytime. Tuesday, June 22nd, the interview committee conducted interviews to add 3 new members onto the department. They came to me with a choice of 3 personnel they'd like to make conditional job offers to. Basically how this works is if approved, we offer them the position provided they can pass a criminal background check and then a kind of like a pre-employment physical. And then if they pass that, then they're basically on the department. And they'll probably start, we're hoping they'll start, first meeting in August. If they can't get everything completed, it'll be September. And, and we anticipate, their training will be starting in September, be the medical training part of it. And then the firefighter training will probably start last part of 21, first part of 22. So hopefully by next spring, the three will be fully trained in. With that, I have no concerns over any of the applicants that were chosen. I guess I would asking for your approval to offer Kevin Waldenberg a conditional job offer on the Lonsdale Fire Department.
Well, what will this bring your number to? Does this switch
With
to
the 3
20?
additional, we'll have a full roster again of 26.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
I move we approve the conditional job offer to Kevin Wildenberg for the Lonsdale Fire Department.
Motion by Councilperson Fuhr, second by Councilman Palava. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next.
Again, I guess I would like to ask for approval to offer Mark Minar a conditional job offer on the Lonsdale Fire Department.
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Kadada,
Second?
second by Councilperson Fuhr. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next.
One more. Okay, and I'm asking for your approval to offer Christina Job a conditional job offer on the Lonsdale Fire Department.
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Palava,
Second?
second by Councilman Kadada. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Any more questions while I'm up here?
Everybody happy at the fire department?
Of course.
I guess you don't have any questions.
It's been a busy first quarter, so we've been very busy.
Okay. Well, thank you for all your work, sir.
You're welcome. Have a good evening.
You too.
You too.
Thank you.
Consider denial of a water sewer rate adjustment for the property located at 522 Dogwood Street Northeast. Mr. Erickson?
Thank you, Mayor and members of the council. As the mayor just stated, the property owners of 522 Cottonwood Street Northeast, they are requesting an adjustment to their water bill. As you can see, what was included with the staff report is the usage history from the beginning of 2020. There's no doubt that it's very consistent with the exception of April this year, where we got a reading of 34,000. Included also in the staff report is the letter of request that is requesting the adjustment. Since the readings were done at the end of April and here recently, I know Public Works has been working with Ms. Olson on testing the water meter and answering questions. We did have the meter sent out, and it did test accurate and in compliance with AWA standards. So based off of that, it would be my recommendation to deny the water rate adjustment for the 522 Cottonwood Street. I believe Ms. Olson is here.
Yeah. You want to come up and speak?
Yeah. My water bill was consistently $3,000 to $4,000 a month forever. And this one came up 34,000 gallons. That's almost equivalent to 3 swimming pools, 11,000 bathtubs of water. I don't have a swimming pool. It was in April, and it was cold, so we weren't watering lawns or flowers or anything like that. I didn't have a spigot left on. If I had, I would have a lake someplace. I didn't have a toilet running anyplace. I haven't changed any of my water softener, water heater, dishwasher. Nothing has changed. I mean, I've had a spigot left on and flooded my basement. It didn't take 34,000 gallons that time. I've had a toilet that continually run and never ever took that much water. 34,000 gallons of water in 1 month? I mean, I don't have an underground sprinkler system.
Did it go back to, the next month looks like it went back to 2,000 gallons.
Yeah,
And nothing was done in between?
nope, nothing's changed.
So nobody can figure out where the water went?
No, but 34,000 gallons, I mean, that is a lot of water. Someplace there would be water someplace. My house would be flooded.
Do we have any thoughts of where the water went, what happened?
I really haven't been involved short of the council meeting. I know Public Works
No.
has spoke to Penny several times, and
They said that they'd sent out the meters and they showed that they weren't, but I mean, there could be a fluke. I mean, one more zero thrown into the picture. They did come in and they changed the meters. I do have a different meter than I have before.
Right.
But they said that it's, the next month, I mean, I didn't change nothing.
You don't have a sprinkler system, none of that
No.
kind of thing?
I don't
How-
have a swimming pool, I don't have no
How-
hub pool, I don't have any kind of pool.
How much is the bill?
$219.35. And the month before that, it was $63. So it runs between $50, $60 a month.
So rough, was it $150 overage?
Russ, are our systems accurate enough to tell how much water we pumped that month? Do we know that? Like, how much water we used in that month?
For total use for the city? Yes,
But not everything's metered though, correct?
correct.
Hydrants and stuff like
Right.
that
I was just thinking we'd tie it out somehow anyway, but
Yeah.
that'd be a pretty big task.
We do have a hydrant right in front of our house. I don't know.
No,
But if
we're
that-
just saying though, if, his idea was if we could look to see what the total water production for the city was, and if there was a 30,000 gallon,
Short
increase,
yeah.
or.
It'd be a pretty tall order.
Yeah,
That's-
but,
that's
yeah,
a
this
lot.
is gonna
That's
be
a
everything,
remarkable.
this is an issue from the meter through the rest of your house. So it can't be a line leaking into it, because it's
That's what I
before-
kind of thought,
it's before the meter.
if it had continued on,
Mhm.
I would have said something was going on, but it didn't.
Nobody had no idea?
At this point, no, I got involved with getting the meter tested. Scott was involved with it prior to that, so I don't know what any conversations were, if she had any problems in the house, or if there's a softener, that I don't know. I wasn't involved in that conversation. I did talk to the lady about getting her meter tested. Our normal protocol is, if we send the meter out to get tested, if the meter comes back bad, we will pay for the test of the meter. If the meter comes back accurate, she would have to pay for that, and she agreed to have that meter tested.
And how much was that?
$62.
62.
And you already paid that too?
Well, no, I just
Not
got
mu-
the bill.
That gets added onto this?
I
Plus-
guess, yeah.
When we see and I'd have to go back and look in history, what kind of gallon usage have we been seeing for stuck toilets or water softeners in the past? Never
It
any,
can vary a lot. 62,000 or 64,000 is not that high.
34.
34,000 is not
Okay.
that high for having a problem, some type of problem. So,
Well, I
You
guess.
wouldn't have a problem 1 month and not the next
You know,
month.
I guess in fairness to the resident, so let's say it was a toilet leak, for example. We've given them a break. Is that right?
Well, a lot of that-
Water and sewer.
Yeah, most of the requests aren't for the water portion, it's for the sewer, because they happen in the first 3 months. And then that's the average that's used,
For the
or,
first 3
those
months.
inflated usage
Right.
numbers are then used for the remainder of the year.
Right.
That's not the case with this happening in April.
Right, so the sewer
What
rate's
they're
not
saying is your
affected.
sewer rate, if this would've happened in March, your sewer rate would've been based off of your 3,000, 3,000, 34,000. So then that's where the largest portion of the bill's in the sewer.
In your home, do you have multiple bathrooms,
We got 3 bathrooms,
3 bathrooms?
but I'm the only one there.
Okay.
So now we're talking one person in the house.
No, I understand. I know.
Well, my husband's there on weekends. I mean, he's a trucker, so he's gone all week.
Yeah,
But
I-
I mean, it's very unrealistic.
It's just speculation. I know I ran into it in my business where one of the toilets was the flapper was just right. You know, it wasn't didn't get used all the time, so it was continuously running, you know. And it's not enough that you ever really notice it, you know, it kicks on, it fills the tank, and it shuts off. I'm just, you know, wondering if you had one, but then next time you flush the toilet, it gets used, that condition is no longer there. That problem is gone. And you'd never act up again.
But $34,000, I mean, I've had a toilet that did that, but never, ever, the most my bill ever was 100 and something. So it never, ever went to this.
When they read the meter
If you have a leak.
with the gun, if that's all accurate, not like maybe it read the neighbor's house or something?
That's what I said, because we do have neighbors that do have swimming pools and do have underwater systems, and in fact, we're in 522, they're in 521, you know, and I thought,
But
you
your,
know.
but your reading numbers when I'm looking on this report here, it's, what does it say? 1,100,022.
Yeah, it's 34,000 difference.
Yeah, so that's what the reading would be on the meter, the physical number. So I mean, it would have been able to be verified with the actual physical meter. This isn't an abstract tabulation. This is the actual meter number.
I'm not sure about that because the meter was changed out. So the numbers before that,
So when we changed it out, it was,
I'm not exactly sure. I would assume it got changed out probably in May.
as soon as I got this bill, I called them and they came out and switched it out. So this bill came in May, so it'll have been in May,
In May, we went out and switched the meter.
yeah.
and is there anything on that report that showed what okay, that's what I was looking at, what the register says, beginning and ending. So the 11/24, 469, 11/24, 589. So those numbers coincide with everything else, so.
Russ, when the meter is read, are these, the billing goes out with the scanner that scans that? That's all done computerized, or it's?
Correct. The handheld out in the field gets brought into City Hall and gets downloaded, the software.
Is there any other discrepancies during this time period of different water billings? Or?
No, and actually, if I remember correctly, this is the first request for an adjustment that we've had all year, which is actually surprising.
It just, I mean, in fairness to the lady, I mean, it does seem pretty odd to go from, you know, I mean,
Not ongoing, I mean,
Right.
it's spiked like that and then it's back
Right.
to,
I mean, I think I'd probably be okay if we split it myself.
I was willing to
You know.
suggest that too.
Would that be helpful for you?
Yeah?
Would
Yeah.
be. Okay. I mean, if you.
Yeah, I
do
think
okay.
that'd be the fair thing to do. I mean, there's no like
We can't pinpoint
explanation
that.
that, yeah, are in there and,
Right.
you know.
and you check, the meter has been tested, that's accurate, switched it out. I think we've done all the things that we can do,
Right.
and we,
And they've been adding, like, I haven't obviously I've been paying like $65 a month. I didn't pay this big one. So they've added on late charges because I have it.
Has your bill been late before ever or
No.
not? I mean, I think we'd be okay with waiving that. Would it be okay if we split the bill and just waive the late charges?
Okay.
So move.
Motion by Councilman Carrara,
Second.
second by Councilman Calava. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Discuss and consider lowering the list price for, excuse me, for lots in the business park in Commerce Drive Southeast. Mr. Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor, and members of the council. With the EDA moving forward on listing the properties on LoopNet, I wanted to bring this to the council to discuss what we want to advertise the list price as. It should be listed right now at the $2.75 a square foot. I guess with the exception of dispatch, that was over $2 a square foot, but otherwise it's been $1 and what was the last, I think 49 cents we just closed on the 10 acres on Pondview. So just wanted to bring this up to the council to get your guys' thoughts. If we want to continue to keep it listed at the $2.75 or $1 something. I would just hate to see people, see a price that we know someone's not gonna buy it for, and they just scroll by.
Right.
That'd be the main reason.
No, that's a good
Obviously,
point.
we wanna get $2.75 a square foot, but I don't see that being realistic.
I mean, it really depends what, if and when somebody builds or what they build. I mean, this last parcel is gonna be, what, 100,000 square foot
Oh,
building?
definitely, yep, the increase in the tax base, job opportunities, definitely all play into that.
Right,
Whatever price we do set on it, can we mark it on there and put, different incentives for purchaser as qualified, I think it does need to be negotiated each parcel.
Right,
Depending on
right.
what's going there.
Yes.
I do think, though, that, if somebody has interest, they should be required to build within 12 months
Yep.
or whatever, not something just to buy it and flip it or something like that. But what is it, like 95 or $1.75 or what do you?
At the $2.75, that's a break even, or is that?
Correct.
So I was actually thinking about this afternoon. So when we do a road project in town, we pay what, about 65% of it? Of the city portion?
Is what it's come to recently.
Yeah, I would say probably even closer to 75.
So I mean, if you look at that, that's an investment back in our community as well. I do think this business park is a huge investment back in our community with the different buildings that they're getting there. So the break-even point, that really doesn't bother me too much,
Right.
Yeah,
And
it's-
if we can recoup 60% of it, 65% of it, I think we're doing very good because you have the tax incentives coming out of there. It just,
I mean, 100,000 square foot building tax
Right.
impact is gonna be,
right?
good point. Good point.
Are we looking to price each parcel differently, keep the same number on everything? What are we wanting to see here? What's our thought process?
Yeah, I guess we can discuss that. I really don't know. I mean, I guess besides maybe the zoning, what the difference between the north side of Commerce and the south side of Commerce is. It's not like there's I should say, the visibility of Highway 19 if you wanted your name up in lights, right? Or the opportunity to, have a commercial use on that.
I think your point, you're just trying to catch somebody's eye. To
Correct.
Rush over it.
Yep.
And then we negotiate if they have
Yep.
interest,
I mean, I think $1 anything is, $1 something a square foot
Like $1.95.
sounds better than $2 a square foot.
And Scott, I think Cindy, one of you at the last meetings had said that EDA is going a different route with marketing now, so that isn't a huge number off of the selling price either, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah, we just have we have a fixed marketing
Yep.
cost of, what is it, $650 a month?
Yep.
For that.
We sell them next month, we're only out $1,300.
No, we have a 6-month
Well,
commitment,
all right.
Yeah, so yeah.
but, yeah.
But also, in looking at it, I mean, I guess when I look at the property, to me, one of the prime pieces is the corner
Mhm.
at Garfield and 19. Is that, does that one command a little higher price than other ones, or do we just blanket them all at the same?
Surprisingly, the most parcel that's been interested is south of Commerce. West of TMI seems to be where the people that I've talked to have identified, even more than Highway 19, like you say.
Okay.
And I don't know why, but that's just what.
I wonder if with their backyards basically backing up, if they're worried about keeping the back of their building tidy,
Yeah.
right on Highway 19 maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking about it, later on, but, so Joel and I, we did go meet, yesterday in Minneapolis with a company called United Properties, which maybe they're doing, pull that through. And they're doing a whole bunch of stuff in the South Metro, like in front of Yellow Freight and one in Eagan. I think he's got like 7 buildings going currently. And, they were actually looking at expanding to Owatonna. So I think it was really fortunate we caught their eye, and they were pretty impressed, I think. But the parcel he identified was south of Commerce, like I said. He ideally would have liked to take that and go south to the parcel we just sold. But with the elevation change and all that kind of stuff, we had to explain to him that that's, that probably is not workable. But I mean, he talked, of either that parcel, maybe the entire business park actually, he was gonna consider, I think.
How would we feel about, say, for example, somebody was interested in a whole area, if it came down to it having to eliminate Commerce Drive through there? I mean, if
Well,
that was-
I was just gonna head to, that's exactly what, if you wanted to put up 200,000 square foot buildings or whatever, and we brought that up too, that maybe it makes sense to just eliminate the street.
Okay.
And then you can, but yeah, exactly, exactly.
I don't want to tell somebody, hey, we got all this infrastructure in there, we don't want to disturb it, but,
Right.
hey, money talks. If you
Exactly.
want to act on it, it's yours to tear it up, you go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, companies like that, I mean, they put up
Yeah.
200,000 square
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
But that's a good point. I mean, actually, it came up in the conversation yesterday. So yeah, it was a good meeting and, so.
Did he say what they're paying for land?
He didn't really say, they do it 2 ways. They do basically, kind of like Cerrone does or somebody where, they would list and then if they get a buyer, they'll sell it and all this kind of stuff. I think he said 50%, then 50% they just build. They have a tenant or they spec build part of it and they have a tenant for the rest. And we told them point blank, that is what we're looking for. We're not looking for a listing agent really.
Right.
But I think the thing, is, it's on their radar now. I mean, they had a big projector in the land, identified all this kind of stuff. And, he brought up like, Elkwood New Market, I think that Ryan trailer's been sitting there for 5 years.
Right.
Well, I don't even know if they have sewer and water across 35 yet.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
that could
think they're
Pipeline
working
on
on
the
that
west
now,
side,
aren't
though.
they?
Yeah.
I think they're working on it now,
Is
aren't
that what it
they?
is?
Yeah.
It could be, but, they're still a ways out as
Mhm.
opposed to this. But, so anyway, yeah, I thought it was a good meeting. I think we gave a pretty good presentation and all that. But anyway, that's a little bit off the subject, but just to let you know that, we're working on that, but. So anyway, I don't know, if you wanna, whatever, $1.95 or $1.75 or whatever, what do you guys think?
I mean, I think the $1.75 is pretty reasonable, but if we wanna go to 95, that's fine with me too.
Or are we open, I guess obviously we always want to get a little more. Would we be open to the $1.95, but if they're buying a large piece, then we gotta, we can bring it down if you're buying more.
Yeah, if-
I mean, everything is all,
if
it's
you're-
all negotiable.
Even if you're
always.
tire kicking, you still want to know what
Something.
they're looking at, You gotta have a starting point.
And I think anything in the dollar range is gonna definitely bring in more looks, that's for sure.
How many decimal points?
Right.
Or how many points past the decimal? Just make it seem like we had it all figured out,
Exactly.
193,765.7, that's
Yeah.
what we need, we've got it figured out.
Well, you know what the other,
It's like sales tax,
Right.
the other fallacy is too, let's say we got land here at $1.50 a square. Well, New Prague has it at $1.50 a square, but they're not shovel ready. They got
Right.
deep soil corrections, all that kind of stuff. Well, the average person won't identify that as you look through it, So, I mean, we got a huge advantage here, and it's, like we've all talked, our biggest difficulty has been the marketing. I mean, these guys never even thought of Onset, of course, but, whatever. Cindy, you get to pick. You're on EDA.
Pick the
you
number.
choose.
I'm good with the $1.95.
Okay, I'm good with that too.
Sure. Okay. There you go. Anything else?
No, that's what I needed.
Okay. All right. On to consider approval of license application to make retail sales of cigarette and other tobacco products requested by Lonsdale Food and Fuel Marketplace. Mr. Ayrton.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Obviously, this is being requested by the new owners of Lonsdale Food and Fuel Marketplace, formerly Jesse's. The cigarette license, I reviewed it with the chief of police and compared it to our ordinance, and staff doesn't see any reason not to approve it, so staff would make the recommendation to approve the cigarette license requested by Lonsdale Food and Fuel Marketplace.
So I had a question. So now they've already, the transaction's already taken place. Did the existing license, was there a grace period or a carryover for them to operate, or?
They came in, actually, well, the application came in, I'm not sure what day it was, but I believe it was after the sale.
Okay,
So we worked with them.
okay.
So yes.
I was
There's a
curious. I
transition
had a lot of
period.
people ask me about it, and I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I really couldn't tell you that. So,
I think this was something that wasn't thought about till after the fact.
Right.
Make a motion, we approve the license.
Motion by Councilman Kadada,
second.
second by Councilman Palava. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consider approval of an agreement between the City of Lonsdale and Safe Assure Consultants, Inc. in the amount of $4,556.23 for OSHA compliance and safety training. Mr. Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. This is an annual consideration of the council. The city's been contracted with Safe Assure since 2004. As far as I know, we're satisfied with the services that they provide. They do monthly trainings with really Public Works, our annuals in September. They do provide online training for those that don't or can't attend the in-person trainings. The cost is up 2% over our current agreement. They provide us compliant policies and training. They do the mock OSHA walkthroughs. And all the policies and services that they produce are guaranteed to be OSHA compliant. We did have OSHA in town a couple years ago. They were in town all day and then part of the next day. And I do believe that Chad did come out. Did we meet him at the, I believe he got there when we were at the wastewater treatment plant.
Yeah.
Not aware of any we were not cited for any violations or anything, so. I guess we would recommend entering into the contract with Safe Assure for the $4,556.23.
It's a good program to keep running, and we approve.
Motion by Councilman Kadada,
Second.
second by Councilman Palava. Any further discussion?
I was just gonna say, because it's not just the defense side of it, I mean, all the training, all the,
Yep.
you know, the mock stuff, I mean, it's something that might be addressing things didn't even realize were going to be a problem. Or if they make changes that we did, makes changes, and it's your responsibility to know about it.
Right.
They don't give it to you on a silver platter, so.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consider approval of application for payment number 2, the final, in the amount of $1,982 to McNamara Contracting, Inc., and change order number 1, and the deduct amount of $5,655. Mr. Powell.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council members. The scope of this work was an edge mill and bituminous overlay for a portion of Industrial Park Drive. McNamara completed the work actually a while ago, so what we're really paying is the retainage. They didn't have all their paperwork ready to go when we processed the last pay voucher, so along with the final payment, we are requesting approval of change order number 1. This details how quantities change from the original contract to the final, and it's only prepared when all quantities have been finalized. By processing this change order, the final contract value is adjusted to match the final total paid to the contractor, creates a clear project record in case of audits and for future reference. McNamara has submitted their final documentation. All submittals have been reviewed and are acceptable. So from a fiscal impact standpoint, the original contract, the final payment brings us to about 12.5% under the original contract amount. And staff's recommendation is to approve pay voucher number 2 final in the amount of $1,982 and change order 1 for McNamara Contracting.
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Kadada,
Second?
second by Councilperson in favor. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consider approval of application for payment number 3 in the amount of $289,206.41 to BCM Construction, Inc. for the 2021 Street and Utility Improvement Project. Mr. Powell.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. A quick recap of the schedule. Activity on site began in mid-April. The substantial completion date is September 10th, with a final completion date of June 30th of next year. As mentioned before, BCM is constructing the project in 2 phases. As of today, roadway construction through bituminous base has been completed in Phase 1 area. In Phase 2, the pavement was reclaimed, temporary water has been set up, and they passed their tests, so they'll start hooking up individual services to the temporary system. They don't happen to be on site today, and tomorrow I think their pipe crew had to go to another site. But they have started installing new water main on 3rd, starting at the north end and working their way south. What you have before you is pay voucher number 3, work items completed as part of Phase 1 are roadway excavation, placement of the fabric and granular bar on the road section, the drain tile and sump pump stubs, aggregate base, concrete curb and gutter and driveways, and bituminous base. And this payment also includes pavement reclamation in Phase 2. Based on quantities to date and work progress, construction costs are tracking at or near budgeted amounts. With this payment, about 35% of the original contract value will have been paid. And the payment reflects a standard 5% retainage as required by the contract. Our recommendation is to approve pay voucher 3 to BCM Construction in the amount of $289,206.41.
I see no reason to not pay this, so I move we approve.
Motion by Councilman Kadada,
Second.
second by Councilman Palava. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consider approval of application for payment number 1 in the amount of $69,176.29 to Green Creek Asphalt for the Trichka Park parking lot and walkways project. Mr. Powell.
Mayor and council members, again, construction activity on this site started in mid-May. Substantial completion date was June 30th and final completion date is July 14th. A small area of the parking lot at the north end has not yet been paved due to subgrade conditions, but the project is substantially complete. At the north end, they have, it wasn't firm enough to pave. They have a little corrective work to do at the very north end, but as part of the previous paving, they actually paved adjacent to the curb, so with recent rains and whatnot, the curb was protected and wasn't undermined. The city council is being requested to consider pay voucher 1 in the amount of $69,176.29 for work completed through the end of June. Work included in this payment is storm sewer structure, 1 structure and pipe, the concrete sidewalk, the concrete driveway pavement, and bituminous paving and base paving completed to date. Based on quantities to date and work progress, construction costs are tracking at or below budgeted amounts. With this payment, about 68% of the original contract value will have been paid, and this payment also reflects a standard 5% retainage as required by the contract. Recommendation is to approve pay voucher 1 to Crane Creek Asphalt in the amount of $69,176.29. So as far as what they have left to do out there, it would be base paving of that north end, workhorse, and straight pavement marking.
Make a motion to approve payment number 1 for 69-176-29 Grant Creek.
Motion by Councilman Palava,
Second?
second by Councilperson Fuhr. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consider approval of a proposal submitted by WSB in the hourly not to exceed amount of $3,379 for the 2022 street and utility improvement project feasibility study. Mr. Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. This was briefly discussed at our last budget meeting when we were talking about streets. Last year, WSB did the feasibility study. The fee here is proposed as an update to that. Some of the graphics, assessment roll, cost estimating. It is an hourly not to exceed amount of $3,379. The project understanding is similar to what other projects are: pavement, reconstruction, water main, service improvement, storm sewer, sanitary sewer, attendance at meetings. Geotechnical was completed with the feasibility study last year. We had the borings done, so we have that information. And if approved tonight, the feasibility study will be presented to the City Council at the August 12th meeting. Completion of the feasibility study update would be the next step in determining the scope and cost and keep the project compliant with State Statute 429.
I think we should keep this project rolling and see what we can do next.
Residents are expecting that area.
I move we approve the feasibility study.
Motion by Councilman Karada,
Second.
second by Councilman Palava. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consider approval of Resolution 2021-38, a resolution ordering preparation of report on the improvement of the 2022 street and utility improvement project, which includes 3rd Avenue Southwest between Highway 19, Colorado Street Southwest, 4th Avenue Southwest between County Road 4 and Colorado Street Southwest, Alabama Street Southwest between 2nd/4th Avenue Southwest, and the alleys between Highway 19, 2nd Avenue Southwest, Colorado Street Southwest, and 3rd Avenue Southwest. Mr. Powell.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council members. The City Administrator covered the scope in his comments, and the Mayor defined the work area. So this step is required as part of the Statute 429 process for assessing public improvements. In accordance with the city's policy, we expect sanitary sewer improvement costs would be 100% funded by city utility funds. The water main improvements are to be funded through a combination of assessments and utility funds, and the surface and drainage improvements would likely be assessed as a portion of the total project cost. This is consistent with our past projects. As a portion of the improvement costs are proposed to be funded via special assessments to benefiting properties. This step is required as part of the 429 process. Special assessment proceedings may be initiated either by the city or via petition from the property owners. The 2022 street and utility improvement project will be initiated by the city, consistent with past projects. The first step will be to propose the improvements and order preparation of the feasibility report. That's what's on the agenda for this evening. The feasibility report will address items required by statute 429, will include a description of the existing conditions and proposed improvements, a cost estimate, identify funding sources, and an estimate of the amount to be assessed. The preliminary assessment roll, project schedule, and whether the proposed improvements are necessary and cost effective will also be a part of that. And as the city administrator mentioned, this is really an update and focusing last year's feasibility report on the 2022 project area. Based on prior discussions with the city council, the project limits for each project area are identified such that the project cost does not exceed $2 million. Detailed cost information will be available as part of the feasibility report. Staff's recommendation is to approve the resolution to order preparation of the feasibility report for the 2022 street and utility improvement project. And there is a location map attached.
this will be approving the resolution 2021-38, correct?
Correct.
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Kadada,
Second?
second by Councilperson Fuhr. Any further discussion? The only thing I have, are they gonna do CASA 4 at the same time, or not? Have they decided?
Mayor and council members, I don't know that we've heard anything firm on that yet, but I would say it's, based on what I heard last, it's unlikely that they'll be doing CASA 4 next year. I think it'll end up being moved back a year, to be honest with you. Is that,
I would agree with that. And, some staff quit at the county in the highway department, so they were planning on doing the design in-house. So with, a couple key, or at least one key employee, quitting, that kind of put this, project into jeopardy.
and really the staff, I think, that leads their design, they're a design technician, the assistant county engineer, and the way the county engineer put it to me, he said design has really come to a halt until they can staff up again.
Do we assume that elevations would stay the same at the, intersections, or, I mean, it really wouldn't?
Mayor and council members, we're not anticipating any significant changes, and we only have one area that really ties in, the roadway on CASA 4 where we have an intersection there, but the rest of it, we don't anticipate any significant changes with that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That concludes the planned agenda. On to department reports. Mr. Blasak?
Mr. Mayor, City Council, we've been working on getting our budgeted items done for the year. We finished actually today doing our catch basin repairs for the year. Got them blacktop back in with the blacktop that was in town today. So that project is complete. We will be starting to turn gate valves and do maintenance on gate valves that are sticking up, manhole stuff, trying to get that stuff patched up before winter and ramped so we can hopefully not tear plows off. So that's the next step we have going on. And we do have a bunch of new street signs that were installed last week also, so that is part of our budgeted amount too, so that was done also. So just pushing forward and trying to get everything ready for the next season.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Powell?
Mayor and council members, I've talked about most of the project work, but I would add that the Second Avenue Southwest area was paved with workhorse today. They completed the entire project area, and they've been working on punch list items for the past week or two, so we're in good shape there.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Erickson?
Working on the 22 budget with department heads and staff. The EDA, I'm sure that council members will touch base on this, but we have our BR&E retreat, which is kind of the presentation to the task force of the final report and proposed projects that we have to decide on which ones we want to proceed with for the implementation portion of the project. As the mayor said earlier, we met with United Properties. I would agree that that was a good meeting, and I guess if nothing else, we're on their radar.
Thanks for driving too.
Sure. I sat in for most of a webinar that Deed had today on assistance that they will have that was included in the state's two-year biannual budget. So I'll watch the rest of that and get that information. As I said earlier, the EDA did go with LoopNet, and we have the photo shoot scheduled for that next Thursday. So I know Public Works is working on that, getting those signs done and stuff. So those pictures should be looking good. And then working on 2 limited use permits for MnDOT for the trail and our welcome sign. So.
Thank you for your work, sir. Yep. Mr. Baker?
Working on lots of fence stuff, fence issues, also fence upgrades and getting people into compliance. Planning Commission in late July will be getting an update on 114 Central Street East as some new proposed improvements will be there. As far as permits go, we are at 368 permits as of today. Just to give you a sense of, like in 2013 and 2014, we did about 200 permits each of those years. So we're only halfway through the year and we're at 368. We do have
Get all the roof permits.
siding permits. Right. 37 new homes, permit applications submitted. I think we did in the low 30s last year. So, but we are pretty much running out of lots. So Welco would be the most lots left. Some on Ash Street, a lot of the twin home lots. Only ones that are left, so.
The cost of construction is gonna really be prohibitive from people anxiously developing. Hopefully we get Loomis to, finish up that, Twitch Creek. How many lots would be in there? There's probably like 20 in there or something?
Yeah, 20, 30, 40, somewhere in there.
Okay. Thank you for all your work, sir. Councilman Kadada.
Couple things, at our July 26th, budget meeting, we're gonna have a joint meeting with the park board. And after that, we're gonna have a planning and zoning meeting. And one other neat thing, the archery targets at the archery range are pretty much seen their useful life. So Tri-Lakes Sportsman actually donated $2,000, and Paradigm Outdoors, the company that we would be purchasing the targets from, put in about $1,600.
Oh,
So
really? Nice,
out of $8,000, we're halfway there.
nice. Yeah, nice.
That's all I have.
Good, thank you for your work. Councilperson Fuhrer.
Well, as Joel said, the BRE event will be next week, and then also the EDA will be meeting next Thursday.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Palava?
Echo Cindy and Melissa, the police station, police department facilities moving along, and EDA is doing their job, so.
Good, good. Earning their big pay, I'm sure.
Yep. Remember, it's the authority.
There you
It's the
go.
Economic Development Authority. You must respect the authority.
And if there was some confusion last week, but EDA, of course, is their own separate entity
Yep.
in the city, so. Just a couple things. So I got another email and a call from the, this Ideal Energies in the wastewater, treatment plant area on the solars. Is that, I should just tell them we're not interested, or do we have thoughts on that, or?
Yeah, I'll,
Okay, okay. And then, it looks like we're busy here, what, every week this week? The 15th, or this month, 15th, the 26th, and the 29th. Everybody still good for those meetings? Okay. All right, well, we can then end on a happy note.
And we'll be adjourned.
Motion by Councilman Kadada.
Second.
Second by Councilman Palava. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. This meeting is adjourned.